using my core muscles here. So, okay, so we're on right now. We are on, and it's nice to have Nichole. It's nice to have you here.
It's nice to be here.
Nichole Coleman, Executive Director of the Hancock County Veterans Services, right?
Yeah.
And what's the other job that you have that we did a quick coaching business?
Devenir Coaching
Because you
Services.
have all these businesses, myself, I'm known for Jim's Hot Dogs, Jim's Gym,
Yeah.
one of those people.
I loved Jim's Hot Dogs.
Thank you, Nichole.
My favorite's Jim's Gym.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate
That's
that.
where I start my day.
Yes, you
Yeah.
do start your day here in the morning, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's a good way to kick it off. Devenir.
Devenir Coaching Services. So it is a place where people can have someone coach them through life transitions. I'm a health and wellness coach. I've been trained, and I'm waiting for the results of my medical board exam to come back. Hopefully I'll have those soon. But been through some training to be a health and wellness coach, which means that I can know what are some of the main biometrical problems that someone might be experiencing, so that I know I need to refer them to a medical physician. I know what some of the main mental health conditions someone might be experiencing, so I know when I need to refer them to a mental health professional or an addiction specialist, those types of things. So I work with a lot of people who either have conditions like diabetes, or people who are obese and are trying to figure out how to get healthy. And I do, my niche is people who have mental health conditions, because I have lived with that for most of my life, and have overcome it, and live a really healthy lifestyle now with those mental health conditions, which is a big part of where Jim's Gym comes in for me.
Yes.
So I've learned how to navigate helping people advocate for themselves with their mental health professionals, with their medical professionals, helping them find joy and purpose and hope in life, and then figuring out what is it that I want out of life, and what is the gap between the way I'm living my life now, and what do I need to change in order to live the life I want. Maybe I can't sleep in until 10 o'clock every day.
So these are you work with the people and ask them, their goals, so to speak, or whatever, and kind of get a game plan going on, and do you consult with them regularly? Is it a once a month thing? Is it a couple times a week? Is it,
I do have, I think, 7 or 8 clients that are weekly clients, and some of the clients are veterans, and so I'm seeing them, at the veterans office, helping strengthen their resiliency and provide the same services to them there. So I do have 6 or 7 that are weekly clients, and I have a few private clients who just come once a month, and so it's kind of all over the board. It depends on what the client is looking for.
Do you still have that office downtown?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's inside Designer Group Salon and Spa. I have a sign up out front now and everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I've been there 15 months now.
Wow, that's awesome. How long have you been executive director?
Since 2011. So it'll be 14 years this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were, give me your military service. When were you in?
Yeah, I was in the Air Force from 1991 to 1998.
Wow.
Deployed for the first Gulf War, and I deployed with the Bosnian conflict as well.
Wow, really? So you were overseas.
Mm-hmm.
What an experience.
That was incredible. I wouldn't trade that time for anything.
Yeah, really.
Just
a great experience, a great growth experience. Found out who you were. I mean, what if you went to a traditional college right after high school, or did you?
I did not. I did not go to college until 2018. So I was in my 40s.
Yeah. So you're, not that you need anything else on your plate, but running for councilwoman.
I am.
That's awesome.
It's something I have been really interested in for, I would say, the last 3 or 4 years. And this is a time now where I have the time that I could put into it. You know, I've finished my education for my coaching business, and my coaching business is running smoothly, and so I've got that piece of my life worked out, done with school. The office, the Veteran Service Office, is running very smoothly, so I don't have, you know, a lot of extra hours that I need to put in there. And,
Well, it wouldn't probably run as smooth if there wasn't such great leadership there.
Well,
Like
thank
like
you.
yourself.
Thank you very
yeah,
much.
Yeah.
I have been blessed with a really good board who supports my ideas, and they haven't always agreed with everything, and so I've learned how to hear ideas that are different than mine and incorporate different ideas with my ideas, and just really learned how to bring people together to find solutions for challenges that people are facing. And so anyhow, I'm excited about running for city council. I've learned a lot. Have only been on this campaign trail for, you know, a short time now, but have learned a lot about things that, you know, I think I thought I knew a lot, and every day I'm learning something new, and that's one of my favorite things, is learning new things and having my brain
I know you need to
challenged.
Do this. So, I mean, if I said, gosh, you know what, I'm going to run for, what ward is it that you're running for?
Ward 1.
Ward 1, and we're going to talk about that here in a minute. But I would have to be like, oh no, I better catch up on my government or my civics or whatever that I didn't pay attention to in high school, to, you know, about politics and how the dang government runs, which I'm embarrassed to say I need. But when it comes to, you know, telling people to get down lower on their squat or do more push-ups, that's easy. But did you have to brush up on things like that, or do you feel like you had a pretty good grasp on it already?
So I think that there are definitely things that I need to learn, and still things that I need to learn. I'm not going to come into any room and say I know exactly what's happening in here. And what I've discovered over the last 15 years is every time I walk into a room, if I'm the smartest person in the room, then I'm in the wrong room.
Yeah.
I need to be in a room where there are a lot of people who are smarter than me, and where I am bringing something that they aren't bringing.
Right.
And so I've learned a lot of.
And that's just your humility, and that's a great leadership attribute.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like the way you can admit that, and, you know, yeah, that's great.
Thank you. One of the things that I learned, I don't remember exactly what year it was, but at some point in the last 15 years, I was appointed by the Secretary of the Department of Labor to serve on a federal committee and for veterans. And when I showed up for the first committee meeting, they were quarterly meetings in DC. I was on this committee for 2 years. And I show up for the first meeting, and, you know, we're going around the room and everyone's introducing themselves.
And this is in DC.
Right.
Was the president at that one? Like, you know, yeah.
No.
Okay, we'll talk about that later too.
Okay. But everyone's introducing themselves, and,
Okay.
you know, here's Dr. Joe, and here's Dr. Heather, and here's Dr. Kim, and I'm like, hi, I'm Nichole. And, you know, so I really had that imposter syndrome of I don't belong here. And what do I have to bring to this really long, beautiful table? What am I doing here? And I had been asked by someone to, you know, apply for this position because they said, we think you'd be a really good candidate.
Right.
And so, you know, after the second meeting, we then had to, you know, join subcommittees. And we had our first subcommittee meeting, and the people who were on the subcommittee that I was on said, we think that you would be the perfect person to be the chair of our subcommittee. And so I stopped and I said, what do I have that you guys don't have? I don't understand. You know, you guys are so much more qualified. And they said, no, they said, you have a lot of experience that you are bringing to the table. You might not have a degree or a title.
Right.
And I, I mean, I do have a degree now. It's an associate's degree, but I do have a degree now. But they said,
but if you didn't, big deal, really.
Right.
I mean,
they said, you have a lot of experience that you're coming to this table with.
Right.
And so, so I learned a lot through that of, everyone brings something unique, and you have to take you have to step back and look at what is each person bringing. And so one of the things I'm kind of sizing up right now is just of all the candidates who are running, what does each one of them bring? So that if I am elected, I know, well, this person has a really unique perspective of budgeting. This person has
Oh, you
a
mean
lot
the
of
candidates that
history.
you're not running against, that you or the candidates you're running against?
No,
No.
the other in the other wards,
In the other
and
wards,
the
yes.
at large. So
Okay, now this is going to sound, what is the at-large now? Is that?
so at large means they are that anyone in the city of Findlay can vote for them. There are 3 seats, and anyone in the city.
And
can
they're
vote for
they're
them.
not in a certain ward.
Correct. I mean, they live in a certain
But
ward.
but they can ward over, all of the wards, in a sense.
So we would all have the same vote. It's just that my constituents, the people that I would be responsible for if I am elected in Ward 1, would be the people who live in Ward 1.
Okay.
And I believe that each city councilman also has a responsibility of being aware of how do the decisions that they make impact the city in general. But the at-large city councilmen their constituents are all of Findlay.
Yeah.
So that would be the difference.
And there's 3 of them.
There are 3 seats.
I live outside of the city now.
Mm-hmm.
But of course I have a business in town, and I don't get the courier anymore because it's delivered at 3 in the afternoon, and I just wasn't reading it. So I'm behind the 8 ball just a little bit here. I should still know, the at-large. Understanding that, I'm getting that. And then, so do you have somebody that you're running against?
Yeah, so Holly Frishy has been the city councilwoman for Ward 1 for a while. She's been on city council for several years. And, one of the things I really respect about her is that she doesn't fit in a box. And, she stands up for what she believes, and, sometimes she gets flack for that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is one thing that I think we have in common is if you know me at all, I've never fit in any box. And I'm pretty passionate about what I believe, and I stand up for what I believe in. So that's one thing that I respect about her and that we have in common.
So did you, when you decided you wanted to run, were you just like, gosh, I need something new, I've conquered this, I've conquered that, or were you like, Finley needs to get their stuff together. Let's go here. I'm tired of this, and I'm tired of this, and, I can see you and Jimmy at night, just when the grandkids aren't around, you just going off on Jimmy like, what is all the trash doing in war? Anyhow, stuff like that,
It is.
Are you running on, what are you running on?
I am running on the fact that we need unity. We have so much division.
I like that.
There's so much division, and I don't understand the value in division in local politics. We all live in the same community, and I would be about figuring out how can we find our common ground, how can we find a goal and take steps towards it together, rather than creating drama about things we disagree in, because that's why I'm running. We need unity.
We need that. I like that.
My email address is united@votenicholecoleman.com. We need to be united. And that's one thing that I learned being in the military. You're taking people from every walk of life and putting them into a squadron together or a flight together or a battalion, and you all different religions, different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different social classes, and you all have the same mission. And there might be major things that you disagree on, but you can still break bread together and have a civil conversation and care about the other individual without making jabs at them because they disagree on, you know, they're Democrat and you're Republican, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
You know, no, like I still love you because you're my brother, you're my sister.
Yeah.
And that is what we need. And we need people to feel heard and valued, even if they disagree with you.
Right. No, I like that, Nichole. And again, that just goes back to your, I think your leadership skills that you've, you know, developed, you know, in the military, and being executive director and having your own business. Devanir. No, I like that because the country's divided. I mean, the whole country is divided, and I'm sure at a small scale, you know, in just the city of politics, I can see that. Even though, you know, we're not a. I wouldn't call this, if there is such a thing as a swing county, because, you know, we're pretty much Republican,
right.
The majority of people in Hancock County. But that's important, that bringing people together.
Yeah, unity is so important.
Yeah. Now, do you have to live in the ward that you're running for?
You do, yep.
So you have to live in that ward?
Yeah.
And your ward is Ward 1,
mm-hmm.
which we won't go into the exact details, but it's the kind of the north. What would you describe that area as? Because you live right across from Riverside Park.
Correct. Yep. So roughly Riverside Park at Cherry Street Country Club Drive over to Melrose would be the north and south boundaries,
mm-hmm.
and then the east and west would be Bright Road, Woodworth.
Yeah.
So
yes,
connecting
yep.
with 224.
Yep.
So that's kind of like, it's obviously not a straight line, kind of a jagged line.
Yeah.
And then the west side is Blanchard Street. So that's kind of the perimeter of Ward 1.
Okay. So the west side is Blanchard Street.
Mm-hmm.
Does it have what's the school? What's the elementary school there?
That is
Jacobs. Is Jacobs in your ward?
Yes.
Then? Yeah. Okay. That's I like that ward. But you don't have much to do with going west of the Riverside Park, like Cherry Street and up and through there. Civitan Park, you know, so Civitan Park?
Civitan Park is not included in that.
Okay.
Yeah. There is a piece of Cherry Street, but not down.
Because if I lived in that ward, Nichole Coleman, I would run on clean the river up. Mm. I love the river. The river, you know, from Main Street and then east of there through Civitan Park, where all the buildings used to be that are all torn down. Mm-hmm. If that riverfront, if you could have access all the way down, even to where the little bridge goes over, I just think that's the neatest area. And the Blanchard River has a lot to offer. And I don't like when people call it a muddy hole, because there's turtles in there. If you really go walk by the river, it's exciting. And I'm always, you know, skateboarding down through the path. So again, my brother lives right down the street from you, and I love your area. I love that area of the city. So
yeah, your brother and dad are both in the ward that I live in.
Yes, they are, aren't they?
Yeah.
But so what can you do about the river?
Well, the river is being worked on, and there has been a lot of cleanup.
Yeah, there has been. And the flood mitigation thing affected it. It made it lower.
It did.
And some things are starting to pop up when the water's not as high. So there's some goods and some bads to that.
So can I turn it and ask you a couple of questions?
Yeah, turn it.
Okay. So speaking of the river and Civitan Park and that area, when you go to other cities, like every once in a while you get to get out of town with your family or by yourself because you're doing speaking engagements and you're in other cities, other communities. What are you seeing that is near parks or near rivers that you enjoy getting out and doing that we could bring to Findlay?
Okay, that's a good question. We do go to Tiffin sometimes because we have a band shell, at Riverside Park.
We do.
But something about theirs being right downtown.
Yeah.
And where you can just park downtown and walk there. And if you're listening to a neat band, I mean, it's got the big grassy area too. Right. It's just really neat.
Yeah.
And I know there's stuff at the band shell, right? You probably hear the music playing.
I can sit on my front porch and listen to it if it's playing at the band shell at Riverside Park. But
so I don't want to say we don't have one of those because I love Findlay, Ohio. I love Findlay, Ohio. I am so happy with Findlay, Ohio. Again, it's my home. I moved away to Chicago for a little bit, to San Diego for a little bit, and then always wanted to come back. So I don't have a lot of complaints about Findlay. Another thing, though, if I were to say, just the lack of the respect that bikers get, like as in bicyclists, cyclists, and just people on the roads that want to utilize that. But we're just not a huge bicycle town, so I don't think people know how to react to a bicycle taking up a lane.
Right.
Where in Chicago, it's like bicycles number one. You watch for the bicyclists because there's everybody, cycles to work, whatever. So that's another issue, I would say.
Yeah, those are a couple of the same things that I feel. I love riding my bike and appreciate the bike lanes on Blanchard.
Yes,
I ride
nice.
my bike over to my daughter's house regularly, and I go down Blanchard. And so I didn't used to have a really safe way to get to her house on my bike, but now I do. Because of that bike path. And I think the flood mitigation and those buildings being torn down downtown really changed the landscape of that piece of downtown. And so the opportunity to make some changes, and I haven't been on city council, so I haven't been involved in any of the discussions about what should be there or shouldn't be there, how much should be spent, how much shouldn't be spent, are we getting grant funding, not getting grant funding, all of those kinds of things. But I do agree that let's utilize what is there, and let's add value to the river and make the river a good thing instead of a bad thing for our community, because the city of Findlay is
I'm going to move it. You know what? I live outside of Findlay city limits, but I'm moving to Findlay just because you said that to vote for you. I am moving. We're moving before before when? When do we have to do it in the primaries?
May 5th.
May 5th. Okay.
May 6th.
May 6th.
Look
May
at me.
6th.
May 6th.
May 6th. May 6th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you could just, be neighbors with your dad and your brother.
I should move in with my dad for a little bit and get. So I love that because back to the river, because all those buildings, even behind Civitan Park, for those of you that are familiar with that area, it was always kind of known as, if you got back there, it was I don't want to use the word seedy, but if you're not biking those or walking those a lot, it was kind of back there, and I don't know, it just had that reputation of I don't know how to say this, but like maybe I would tell my 14-year-old daughter, just walk on Main Street, don't go back that way.
Right.
All those buildings are gone now, even all the way down to the Martin Luther King Bridge, and that's just the point of me saying that is there's just such a big open space there of just river something, whether it be, I want people to feel, good about walking back through there again, and you can be a gateway to Riverside Park.
And it feels so much safer. Like, I bike there all the time. Well, not yet, but typically when it's nice out, I bike there all of the time because it feels so safe now.
Yes, it does feel safer.
Now we just need to make it more inviting.
Make it more.
It feels safe, but draw people there.
Yes.
I don't know what that means.
And does the city own that property? Do you know that at this time?
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure of that, but
if I ask you a question and you don't know the answer, I'll just, I'll go cut and we'll edit it out. So
Okay.
I'm just kidding, I'm making a joke.
That sounds great.
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
Just cut it out.
And
if
just,
I don't know the
I'm
answer.
just, we're just gonna do all that. This is only gonna be a couple of all the great things you say, with this conversation, and just little short takes of it. No, I'm just kidding. That's why it's nice to have these conversations to get the full. We just want to know, who Nichole Coleman is and get to know her. I know a lot of people know you because sometimes, I feel like I'm like. This isn't going to sound humble, but I feel like I'm kind of the local celebrity with being on Ninja Warrior and the Jay Leno Show,
yeah.
ESPN Sport Nation, Regis and Kelly, but I don't want to get into that.
Yeah,
but then when I hear that you're like going to Washington having luncheons with like the president's going to be there or Biden's talking or whoever, didn't you do that one time?
I got invited to the White House once by President Trump in his first term and 4 times by President Biden.
See, that makes me mad because then all of a sudden it's Nichole Coleman and you're all of a sudden the celebrity in Finley. But anyhow.
You're the real celebrity. You're the real celebrity.
All right, Nichole.
Yeah.
So you got invited. Why? Did just President call you up and say, hey, this is President Trump.
Yeah.
What are you doing tomorrow night?
He didn't call me personally, but his people did send me a personal invitation, as did President Biden's. It was because of the leadership role that I had with the National Association of County Veteran Service Officers. And if I have to say that again, I'm just going to say NACVSO because that's way easier. But I was on the board, actually I'm still on the board, but I was on the board with them from 2014 until my final term will end this July, which was another reason why I felt like I was going to have the time after this year for City Council. But I was the president for this organization with 1,800 members across the country for 2 years. And so we advocated at the federal level for veteran advocates across the country. We would go and speak with senators and congressmen. We worked very closely with the Secretary of the Veterans Affairs. I actually, when I was sworn in for my first term as president, received a congratulations postcard from the Secretary of VA after my swearing in.
Nice.
And that felt really good. But through my time there, I learned. I would say that's where my leadership skills were really honed because I was working with people from across the country, and I learned a lot about how each city, each county, each state operates so differently, and why there's value in that.
Yeah. Yes.
It is so important that each community be able to know what's best for their own community. Yes. We don't want or need the federal government telling us how to operate our city. Yes. Nor do the county commissioners need them being told how to operate their county. And it gave me a new level of understanding of city government, county government, the state government, and then the federal government, and learning how to leverage relationships, learning how to build relationships, and then cultivate them. Make them authentic relationships. Like, we're going to have real conversations about the things we disagree on, and then we're going to find the things we do agree on and figure out, okay, now how do we make that the center of our relationship, and what is something that we can accomplish together that's going to help both of our missions for the people we're advocating for. And that's what I feel. I think that is what I would say is one of the things that I recognize that I could bring to City Council. So I may not be the smartest or the greatest with budgets or economic development, although I have understanding of both of those things. I've managed a $1.3 million budget for the Veterans Service Office, since I've been the director. It's changed a little bit here and there, and I've never spent the entire budget. But what I recognize is that I really have an incredible ability to develop strong relationships with people and get to know them in a way that we have an opportunity to find what we agree on in a way that it's going to impact the mission of the people we advocate for.
Gosh, I think that, wow, like just listen to you talk right now, Nichole. I'm thinking next time at large, and then, council president, and then what? Sorry, Christina Murrin. I mean, mayor. I'm going to vote for you for mayor, like already, if you ever. I'm just kidding, no offense. But seriously though, that is awesome. We need more leadership skills like that. Yeah, because leadership, just humility and patience and listening.
Yeah.
Like, it just sounds like you're just a really good listener. Of course, you probably do a lot of that with your debonair business.
Yeah. As a coach, I mean, that's what you do.
Right. Or me as a coach, I'm like, hey, let's go, people, suck it up. They better shut their mouths and get their butts down on the squats and do push-ups and do the proper. Okay, I'm just
exactly. We are two very different kinds of coaches.
Yeah. Yes, we're different kinds of coaches. Yes.
But we're both getting results for our people.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Yeah.
Because everyone needs different kind of coaching in different aspects of their life. Just like in a boardroom or city council chambers, we need different kinds of leaders coming to the table.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited about you running for office.
Thank you.
That is awesome. And we can talk about other things, but we can start wrapping it up here. If we can just talk about the chair you're sitting in now, real quick. Can we talk about me just for a little bit?
We can talk about you as long as you want. I know that you're more comfortable with that.
Yeah. Thanks, Nichole.
Just picking.
Yeah, I appreciate that. These are from my youth. I mean, that chair you're sitting in is from the 60s, and this furniture, including this, was at my lake house that I grew up in Michigan, on the front porch. So there's a little love seat. You can't see it across there. I used to lay on that thing straight out. I can remember doing this, and it's still kicking this. I mean, this furniture is classic stuff.
Quality.
Yes, it's quality, and so it's nice to have you sitting in this. I feel at home doing maybe this could be the first podcast of many. Hopefully the audio is okay. I think it is. But then you got the whole back wall of albums. The records are still in there.
Rick Springfield,
yeah. You're gonna have okay, that's what you need to do. You need to pick a song where you go out on, right? Do you have a song picked out?
I have a few different songs.
Okay,
yeah.
You're gonna just keep those under the wraps right now?
I don't need everyone to know what I'm listening to when I'm getting ready to walk in, but I've got hearing aids that are Bluetooth to my phone, and so I got, everyone else might not hear the music that I'm walking into, but I hear the music that I'm walking into, and it's preparing me for what I'm needing to do.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah, for sure.
So you have music that you just listening to fire you up or pump you up a little bit.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, when you're when I was running for the vice president and then president for the board of NAC VSO, there's a room of 700-800 people that I'm getting ready to go speak in front of, and I needed music.
You did.
To be listened to as I was walking up on that stage. So
you still get nervous when you present a public talk?
I do. It's not like it used to be. The things I
just
because
you're better at it and you know how to.
I'm more confident.
More confident, yeah.
Yeah, I'm more confident, but I do still get nervous because I care, and I think anytime you care about something,
yes. And that's okay to
that's
get nervous.
Good.
And I think that's awesome. If you're not getting nervous anymore, then you should reevaluate. I think your talk, because there's always a little nerve. You want it to be the best, and you, like you say, you care about the deliverance of this and what your content is, and so that's great, Nichole.
Yeah.
Wow.
So speaking of giving talks, I know that you're doing some great work in the recovery community.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah.
Yes, I've really taken that turn to my bells for recovery. I make handmade kettlebells and I donate them to recovery centers, but I have this whole presentation that I go and give, and I'm in 4 different recovery centers now.
That's incredible.
Yeah, in Toledo and here in Findlay at Findlay Recovery Center. But some I go weekly, some I go to every other week. It just depends what their goals are. But yeah, I really like it. But you know what?
That's awesome.
But this is about you, Nichole Coleman. See, look at you try to. That's a leader right there. If you want me to feel good about myself, start talking about myself. And that could go on forever.
You're making a difference in the community, though.
Well, that's
You're
nice.
taking hope into those places, and I appreciate that.
Okay, well, thanks. Anything else you want to say? So do you have a website to go to, or do you have an email, or give us your information
I do.
before we...
So you can go to votenicolecoleman.com. You can email me at united@votenicolecoleman.com. Follow me on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, you heard that. Nichole Coleman running for
Ward 1, City Council.
City Council, Ward 1. Well, thanks for having this talk. This was fun.
Thank you so much. It was a lot of fun being in here.
Okay, thanks, Nichole. Okay, see you, everybody. Thanks.